In this section, I'm going to walk you through how to set up collection listeners for both syslog and SNMP and how to view that information live within PUNQ. So let's begin. I have PUNQ already installed, so I'll click on my desktop shortcut and it will launch the application for me, and then we'll go through the process. Once the application is loaded, I'll click on the Settings tab, and this is where I have the ability to set up both syslog as well as SNMP listeners. And I'll begin by setting up a syslog listener. So we will use the default port 514, which is your standard syslog listening port. And from there, you notice I can actually start or stop the listener at any point in time. Additionally, I can add forwarding addresses for any listening port if I want to, simply by clicking the forwarding address, and it allows me to select both the address that I'm forwarding to as well as the port that I'll be forwarding on. And so let's go ahead and start this listener. And now I can go into my live view, and now I can see events as they are being streamed to me from external sources. Additionally, if I wanted to, I could go back to my Settings tab and stop that listener. And now clicking back into my live view, I can see quickly that it has stopped listening and I no longer am collecting. And I can clear that at any point in time if I wish. Now additionally, as I am listening, I have the ability to filter based on search criteria. So let's say I want to filter for this particular IP address. And actually let's select this one. Then I can simply take that information and enter it into my filter setting, and now automatically only events that include that information are showing up in the live viewer. Now all data is still being collected, but this allows me to very quickly see from the filter view particular search criteria that I care about. So I'll go ahead and clear this and go back into my settings, and I'll go ahead and stop my listener at this point. Now additionally, you can do the same thing for SNMP, which is traditionally port 162, but you can see that you can set your port to any port that you'd like to listen on, and similarly you can start and stop your listener simultaneously. You can set up multiple listeners for each of the SNMP and syslog configurations, so you can listen from multiple sources and across multiple ports as well. Finally, once you are complete and have listened to or gathered enough information that you would like to save that, then you can simply save your indexed information off to an external file. And so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and save it to my desktop, and I'm going to call this, let's see, I'll go ahead and put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call this Mike's file. And so now it has saved the contents of that session to a desktop file. Similarly, if I wish to later, I can go into my Settings tab and I can, from there, add data sources that I would like to gather as well. So in this case, I have a local file. I'm going to browse to my Mike's file that I just saved, and I'm going to open that, and now it has brought that into my local data source, and I can now search across both my local as well as my imported file. And if I wish to later, I can go in and delete that file from my index. So this allows me to capture, save, and store multiple index sessions for the purpose of either analyzing or for historical records. That concludes our session on setting up the listening ports within PUNQ.